All right. You want to start a little differently today. We'll take a crack at the Warhammer community page, I think, right off the rip, maybe. I think. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. So let's look at it. Let's see what was posted before we start painting some more Zangors. Oh, yeah. So it looks like, I guess, on the 1st, so in a few days, it was on Friday, they're just going to unbox the new starter set for 11th. Which, to those who are unfamiliar, this is going to be cringe as hell. So, enjoy it, I guess. I'll check it out, but nothing in that box is of interest to me specifically. So that's all fine. What else we got? Gretchen throughout the week. What is this? Log, new edition, and wherever they go, the Gretchen are never far behind. Grots are a little more than disposable to human Gretchen. Scary the blasters. Grots are surprisingly good shots in big enough numbers. You can cause some serious mischief. Oh, they're going to be showing us just like general stuff for the Warhammer 40k things. Oh. I'm guessing for the next 5 days leading up to the unboxing, we're just going to see the orcs that are coming in the box. Gretchen are fun. They can be pretty fun. It's magic, wizard stuff. Yeah, they're going to be leaning in heavy to the Armageddon information. Wait, what the hell is this? Wait, what the hell's Arcane Duel? Take center stage next issue. A new Arcane Anvil of Apotheosis allows you to create the collegiate mage of your dreams to join the Cities of Sigmar army. Choose your wizard's origin flaws, blah, blah, blah. This opens up for some fun conversion options. Don't care about any of that. What the hell is this? Unleash. White Dwarf includes the rules, cards, and tear out arena for a fast-paced spell-slinging matchup. That's weird. This is kind of... It looks kind of close to the Warhammer Heroes line where you got that like one table and you kind of put people down and I guess you just use abilities back and forth and move around. So AOS focused, even though most of us are constantly trying to figure out whether anyone cares about AOS. I mean, the current rumor is that they're going to just unify all the realms, and it sounds like they're just trying to, like, almost reboot it again. Like, it's weird. It's too weird. And then a reminder. Oh, mini of the month. It's a Jaeger, which is kind of cool. I do like me some Jaegers. I did want to play the kill team for Jaegers, but It's still weird that they wear leather jackets over top of their armor. It's awkward. The rebrand, I guess. What is this? Because this is the rebrand for the... I saw posts on Instagram about people being like, "Oh, the new bottles don't have any character in them," and it's like, what the fuck are we doing anymore? Why are we complaining about the bottle information? I mean, it's all right there. You can see it. It's clear branding. If you're looking to try out a new color scheme, it's a great time to take advantage of our pick and mix paint offers. Choose any 10 paints and you'll get the most expensive one free. If you're following along, blah, blah, blah. Make sure your first 4 paints are that. I'm guessing because someone painted something using those. But most expensive is interesting. Because the normal system, I believe, is 10 paints and your cheapest is free. So going more expensive, if you're gonna buy paints coming up, I think it's metallics. There's like white lidded normally. I don't know if it's gonna be white lidded here. I am noticing that there's some black, like the black logo versus white logo. I understand that it's like, oh, well, white would be hard to read here. White's kind of hard to read here. But yeah. What's up, Phaedros? But yeah, if you're getting paints from Citadel, I guess, in the coming month, double check which ones are expensive. Because I know there's a lot of metallics that are much more expensive. So I guess that's fine for a restock. If you're into getting the metallics. New coin? It's okay. It's whatever. Armageddon coin. I guess, just as a reminder, if you were doing the Million Miniatures event, that should be ending on like the 2nd. And if you did 100, you get all of this. So I'm apparently getting all of this. The tin's kind of cool, I guess. This is okay. I don't know what that is. It's a purity seal, but I guess it's meant to put your cup on it. It's awkward. Oh, nice. You go in the droid army. This would have been better, honestly. I think this was the better idea. Because, like, this is cool. This is okay. I'm not really worried about this. These look cool as hell. But yeah, that's about it for the community page. Nothing too major. A little bit disappointing of a White Dwarf. And then I guess just pay attention if you're interested in the unboxing for the Armageddon box. Apparently Friday. And I guess they're going to slow reveal all the orc stuff leading up to it. It's alright. It's not overly impressive. That's good. How do we want to do this? Do we do the gold now? Do we want to do gold? I think we do gold. We've kind of settled on the best gold for me to use is this Aztec gold because it's slightly green and it's dinged. So I think we'll just continue with the Aztec. That's cool. I've personally never been super interested in Star Wars, but like, I mean, that's just me. I understand that people love it. I've seen most of it. It's just it never really caught me. Never really got me really just like into it. It always felt to me like the hyper focus on the Jedi actually. It's like how in Space Marine or in Warhammer 40k, like movies and lore and stuff. It's always the hyper focus on Space Marines and usually Ultramarines. It's like I never really liked that. Which is why it was cool to see some of like the side shoot stories come off, like the Bad Batch and all that. But like, I don't know. And the fact that even though the Jedi were like this concept of like a powerful Night Order, it always felt like they did more harm than good just by existing. It's just so weird. Oh, nice. War Machine was an interesting universe. At least the general core of it was kind of interesting. I don't know if it really existed long enough to get like a big turnaround for deep lore. From the future, Jack. Technically, they can also be from another realm, because these aren't the versions that have the chainswords and pistols. But these are from the 41st millennia. Considered to be some of the best artisans in the entirety of the Chaos Space Marine faction, capable of building the best Gothic spaceships. Goatbird people. That's honestly some of the only lore we've ever been given about Zangors, was when Abaddon was like, yeah, the ships they build are incredible. It's like, what? They build what now? The goat people. The one with the shields and the swords. We're talking about the same people, right? I just wish they would reveal something like weird in the Star Wars universe, like the actual powers they were using are coming from like some ancient super alien technology that was discovered, and it has like dark connotations or something, but it's whatever. People do like themselves a space soap opera. When you say worst, do you mean worst like tactically? Worst to get into and spend money on? Like if you want to get into it now and spend money on it, the actual worst would probably be AdMech, because they're really good, but to be really good with them, it's really expensive. Worst to play tends to be very conjecture based. Like if you're really into melee, don't play Votan necessarily. Don't play Thousand Suns. Don't play Tau. If you're really into range, don't pick up World Eaters. And again, like I said, Imperial agents are not great, but one of the top players in the world took third at a big tournament with them, proving that it's actually like a skill diff. And that the Imperial agents have a lot of play. It's just no one uses them properly. And he did that on a bet. I mean, end of the day, it's a dice game. So even if I make the perfect play possible, if I don't roll well, it's not going to end well. And if my faction has too many moments where a failure equals a loss, because like that's kind of the thing. There's some lists and factions, because a lot of the game, right, is actually built around your list building. If you build a list that's like, yo, dog, you've got these 3 units that are important, you better protect them, use them well, and hope that they actually give you the full power you're looking for. Because if they don't, you're not going to kill enough, you're going to lose them, and then you're going to lose the game. But then there's people that play this game like, I think the 1000 Suns game we watched on War Games Live, the person playing it was literally just like, he was rocking so many just fodder units, and he was just using them really well to get points and then not care about how his opponent was doing. And all of his strong units were like really well hidden and protected. And he would use them very sparingly to get like key moments of fights to complete. It's probably one of the only reasons Grand Coven does so well in Thousand Suns is because of players like that who actually know what the hell they're doing. Because honestly, I don't know how else Grand Coven wins for Thousand Suns. But second worst comp past just general fresh out the box Imperial Agents player who doesn't know how to play the game. Like, I guess if we're looking at it from the perspective of like average player being told like, hey, you have to play this army, and then that army is the one that like makes them kind of lose. Honestly, I feel like it would be Emperor's Children, although the Defiler being added changes this a little bit now. So who else would it be? Because Defilers are kind of like the easy to use model, which is very important for that army. Since we don't really have easy to use. It's a hard one, actually, to think about. Most of the factions have an extremely powerful detachment. A lot of them have very powerful concepts built into them. I think it would be down to, like, if you were to hyper-focus on something, right? Like, my buddy wants to play Harlequins. But Harlequins exist within Drakari and Eldari. They're normally used as just, like, add-ons to those armies, right? Like, if you're going to play Harlequins, you're going to play them as, like, a component of a Drakari or Eldari army. He wants to play them incomplete. There's not a lot of models, not a lot of options, not a lot of units, and they're all basically just paper cannons. Paper cannons with risk. Because it's like, sometimes you fire the cannon and you'll kill something crazy. Or sometimes you'll fire the cannon and it'll just blow itself up and then nothing happens. What's up, Daniel? M children are kind of bad. You have to play them in a weird way to be successful. One of the best players in the world with them doesn't win like a ton of tournaments with them. But I think the Defiler being added to their list is going to add enough option to like put them back on the border of being okay. It's as balanced as it can be. I think at the highest end of the game, people talk about it being maybe like a 5% differential between most armies. Like best player in the world playing other best player in the world, it shouldn't feel too one-sided is the general idea. But then it's also imbalanced depending on the choices you make. Like if I'm going to play Mutant Herd, I'm probably going to lose. But if you play a list similarly weird and weak, we might have a really good game. It's like that kind of thing. Yeah, well, always. Always pick one you like. Don't go for meta. Meta changes so quick in this game. One day it's AdMech, next day it's people talking about how frickin' the Imperial Guard are way too strong, and then all of a sudden it's Chaos Space Marines. Never assume. Any faction you pick, you'll probably be on top at some point. Definitely aim more for what you like than what you think's going to win tournaments. If you go for what you think's going to win tournaments, you're going to show up to every tournament with unpainted models. Because you're going to be changing them out so often. Yeah, just pick an army you like. You're going to want to get a decent spread of unit options to choose from. And then just go from there. It's great. I always view it in from a competitive level like stonks, basically. It's like if the Sectar robots suddenly get a buff or some other unit in the army gets a buff that helps them, it's all of a sudden Sectar stonks are up. And I'll try to use some more Sectars in a list at some point. Maybe we'll give the Warpforged Cabal a try. It'll be cool. Like right now in Thousand Suns, I would consider Demon Prince with Wings stonks way up. They're so good. And there's a few detachments where taking them is actually really incredible. Frickin' Hexwarp Thrallband with Winged Demon Princes is insane. Oh, you got an Age of Sigmar thing? I mean, Age of Sigmar is one of the things in the Warhammer, like, series of games. So they are trying to push it a little bit. But depending on where you are, people might not care about Age of Sigmar. Because it's just another fantasy tabletop. So a lot of people look at it in that light of like, I mean, it's been overdone, right? Sci-fi tabletop is interesting because, you know, it's actually different versus just being like another fantasy one. Even though, honestly, the armies and concepts in Age of Sigmar are kind of cool. It's just easier to get people hyped about a 10-foot tall person in power armor. Like, only in AOS could there be an army rule that's like, are you losing? Well, you're going to be doing a lot better because you're losing. Like, seriously, there's the Disciples of Tzeentch. We went over the Disciples of Tzeentch rule for the new tome that came out. And half the stuff in there is just like, gain points as you lose. You fail that spell check, gain a point. And then you just spend all those points on ridiculously game-changing spells. There's one where one of the characters on the field, if an enemy chooses to charge one of your squads and it's close to that character, the character can make the squad get picked up before it gets charged. Like, they just make it vanish. That's insane. But only if you have points from losing. Such a weird concept. Oh, they sent you a box as a prize? That's kind of cool. Said you were going to post it in the Discord. Let me take a look here in a second. Birria pizza? What the fuck is birria pizza? Oh, birria tacos. So this is a type of meat. Barbacoa. Oh, the beef and lamb? Oh yeah, we've got lamb. We have the place near me does lamb birria. I mean, I would, right? Pizza is just an alternative form for providing you the components of whatever you're eating. Can be delicious in that way. Go, contrast paint. Do your work. I think I might make these robes white like I did the shaman. Kind of like that approach. Exited out of your tab. I mean, birria pizza is just lamb pizza with like good seasoning. I don't see why not. You get a good seasoned meat on pizza. It's fantastic. What else is going on it? Is it like the rest of the birria stuff that you normally get on a taco? Is there going to be jalapenos? Like, what are we doing? I know one of the chefs at the local pizza place near me. I guess he's talking to the owner into like trying alternative pizzas to put on like the slice menu, by the slice section they have. And he started doing like jalapeno based stuff, which is all right. I mean, it's jalapeno and like garlic usually, and then he'll add like something else, and it's fine. But like, man, I really wish they would push that. I love jalapeno on stuff, but I want that stuff to be like cool. Like if he could toss like corn and some like good chicken on there, maybe some ranch dressing. Give me that taco pizza. I tried to slice and it was alright. But I was heading out after the fact. I kind of wanted to be like, yo, next time put it on the The buffalo chicken pizza. Dude, buffalo chicken pizza with jalapenos. Oh my god. Oh my god. It'd be so good. I don't think they'd be able to like make that pizza though regularly. I think I'd be the only one that would eat slices off of it locally. My favorite army is Thousand Suns. That's more thematic than anything else. They're elite space wizards. Their entire general theming is extremely powerful individuals who are puppeteering the equivalent of golems made out of the souls of their fallen brethren trapped inside of suits of armor. I love the hell out of that. It is my favorite theme in the entirety of the game. The playstyle for it tends to be very ranged. It has a lot of weird internal things like these guys. These guys are Thousand Suns. They're usually considered the fodder for them. They actually got rid of the Thousand Sun ability to use Chaos Cultists recently when they dropped the Codex. So that the Zangors are now their only form of fodder. Which I think is pretty cool. I actually like that. I like the idea of distinguishing certain armies based on, like, fodder, access to certain heavy weapons, and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to see, like, the Thousand Sun version of the Hellbrute having a better heavy bolter. The Thousand Sun version of the Defiler has a better Melt-A-Gun. So, like, it's kind of cool. Those little things. Ooh, I'll check out the box. Is it just the box or is it the contents as well? You gonna keep it all closed up for a prize or? Grey Knights do be cool. And if you're trying to figure out a faction you want to play, I do highly recommend Bricky's videos on this. He's kind of the main meme of the entire concept. He doesn't really lore dump you when he's talking about the factions and their histories and stuff. He more or less equates it to like modern day things that you can kind of laugh at a little bit. You like Grey Knights? Grey Knights are cool. They're difficult to use. We did see a tournament recently where someone was playing Grey Knights using Razorback transport units, and he was doing really well. Like, no one uses Razorbacks because they assume that they're just bad. But this guy was using them, and he was kicking ass. Let's take a look at this box. What's in this? Wait, what is in this? Trade samples pack. It's 2024. So it includes some starter miniatures, tools. It's got a cool cover art on it. I wonder if it's a set of like the learn to paint models or something. I wish someone would just show me what's inside of it. So there, it'll have a Warhammer 40k introductory set, which has the miniature and the tools. It has the Stormcast Eternal paint set. It has a Dreadnought in it. Okay. It has a book about getting started with Age of Sigmar. I'll show you guys a picture. I'm just surprised the outside of the box doesn't have anything on it that's like, hey man, this is what's in it. He just looks like he's hanging out, just like chilling in the back corner. Everyone's like, yeah, and he's just like, I'm here. This is the character from the animated series. This is from the front of 10th. I think this is Blood Bowl. This looks like Blood Bowl. But yeah, supposedly there's the paint starter set, which is it's like a Space Marine and I think a Tyranid and then a bunch of paints and brushes. So that's in there, I'm pretty sure. There should be a one of these, the Stormcast Eternals, not like this character, but like just a general Stormcast Eternal in there for painting. Apparently a whole ass Dreadnought. Like it's just a box with a Dreadnought, unpainted, Space Marine Dreadnought. And then a book about how to play Sigmar. Which I guess. It's intriguing. I mean, I know places like Games Workshop usually send out like little collections. Like I think there was I signed up to be like a person that teaches Magic the Gathering. This was when I was a kid. And they had a program where they would send you a box, and the box had basically 2 starter decks in it. And the starter decks were just like very basic, nothing cards. Like they weren't serious at all. And you were supposed to like stack the deck for like the first, I think, 10 or 20 cards so that you knew the sequence of play that was going, so you could tell people like, all right, now do this, now do this, now do this. And give them the general gist of how to do steps and check things and wait and all that. Blah, 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 blah. Play your land, you know, all the fun stuff. But I signed up because they gave you 2 full decks of cards. I taught 0 people how to play Magic the Gathering, and I imagine it's a similar function for their promotional boxes, to just get people to be like, let's take a look at this. Let me show you what a Dreadnought looks like. That is kind of funny that they put a whole ass Dreadnought in that box. Games Workshop's on it about trying to get places to sell their stuff. Like, if you don't have a store within, like, 20 miles, they seem to get rabid about trying to get you to, like, use their stuff. And I think they just check, like, keywords. 'Cause I'm pretty sure the people behind that are, like, general salesmen who get, like, a small percentage of the people that sign up through them in terms of income. Because, the person I work with on YouTube and we used to work at a video game store. And out of nowhere, Games Workshop started contacting us to be like, hey, you guys want to carry Warhammer stuff? Because we didn't have a store nearby. And they really lather on the pitch of being like, here's what you're going to make people pay to buy the stuff, and here's what you're going to spend to get it. And it is really like 30-40% markup on like a lot of it. So it genuinely looks really, really good. But a lot of your stock will just hang out in the store, depending on where you are. Yeah, you should probably gauge public interest. See what's up. Because it's not bad. You might want to delve into, I believe their channel is called Lords of War. They're a couple guys from, I want to say, Canada. I think it's Canada. And they own a gaming store. And they talk pretty in depth about kind of the approach and thought process of carrying certain games. They don't do Games Workshop focused stuff, but since Games Workshop for a lot of gaming stores is pretty like intense and it's there, it tends to be a pretty consistent topic. But they occasionally talk about other things pretty level-headedly too, because I know with the rise of like a bunch of different game things like War Machine coming back, what was the other one? It's the new one that's almost exclusively about 3D printing, and it's like World War II theme. Oh, Trench something. My brain's fried right now. They talk about it in a level-headed fashion, where they're paying attention to the business strategy that is getting put forward by that company. The reasons it stands out a little differently from normal Kickstarter campaigns, which are just like we get our money and then we vanish kind of situation. Trench Crusade, there's the concept. But like also the things you need to worry about with it. It's pretty cool. It's good to see the business side of it talked about, like just straight up. They read comments from other stores who were like, we're no longer carrying Games Workshop product because of X, Y, and Z. And then they go over the things about that are like, they'll point out the things that are like, well, that's not true. I guess this person didn't know that they could do this instead and blah, blah, blah. Like they'll dispel some concepts. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty interesting watch if you're just into the business of it in general. Yeah, man. If the locals are interested, it might be worth picking up. I will say, if there is interest and you start doing it, pay close attention to the general feeling in your community. That is a very important thing, because like sometimes a community will get a little too sweaty, a little too aggressive. I mean, it's technically a competitive thing, but if done right and if kept right in terms of like who's going to play, what they're going to do, like how that's all going to work out, you can keep it really like fun and loose. Like I've talked on this podcast and occasionally on, actually recently on the podcast, or I talk here and then I do a podcast with the channel I work for, right? And I've talked about this one too many times on stream here, there, all that place. There's a lot of people near me who are top like 100 in the world, not just in their factions, but in the general game itself. Like their ELO is just that high. And you would think like, oh, well, that makes everything super sweaty, right? No, those guys actually have a lot of fun. They love trying out dumb stuff. There's still like that joy to it. Like that doesn't get lost. But there's also a lot of people in the area on top of them who are, I guess, overly trying too hard, and they do get aggressive. They do get annoying. And it's always in the worst possible situations too. Like they'll set up a game with someone over like a Discord or a Facebook or something. And then when they show up, if the person they're playing against isn't using the newest meta list of their detachment, they actually get like mad because they're just like, oh, I was going to practice for a tournament. I thought you were going to bring meta lists so we could really dive into it and I could be ready to fight the best version of your army. Why would you bring something any worse than meta? And it's like, dude, we're playing with plastic people. What? What? There's a guy from one of the stores to the north where I went to one tournament, I think. No, I've been to 2 tournaments there, actually. He's known for showing up, looking at your list that you have on the table, deciding that there's not like value to it, like in him playing you, and then he'll just leave. Like, people hate this guy. They've been thinking of banning him from just general local play. He signed up for a 2v2 tournament, I think. No, it was the 4s. That's what it was. It was the 4-person tournament. The 4-person team. He signed up for it, and the guy running the event was like, if you don't show up for this, you're not going to be able to come to events for like 4 months. And then the guy just decided to bail like day of. Screw his whole team over. Made some false claim about his grandma getting sick. Like, you get some weirdos, man. Jack, the worst part about that guy is he has my name. So the whole time we were there and my teammates were bringing him up as like this piece of shit that they hate playing, they were just like, yeah, that guy. And I'm just standing there like, oh. But the alternative is the one store I go to pretty frequently. The guy that runs it basically is like, look, you're either going to be good to the people in the community or you're not going to come here anymore. There was this one kid that was constantly going there. No, yeah. But there's this one kid that was going to the store constantly, and everyone was watching him like perpetually cheat, like make up rules on the spot that he'd get called on, and then he would get angry about being called on them. He would very much out loud consistently talk about how, like, he would get there, he would have some units in a list, like he would have his list ready to go, and then he would see his opponent's list, and then he'd be like, oh, you're playing a lot of tanks. And then he would start asking the store owner to like borrow a bunch of anti-tank dreadnoughts so that he could, you know, friggin' build his list to counter the list. And everyone's like, dude, you're not supposed to list tailor. Like, what's happening, man? And eventually the store owner was like, don't come back till you can actually be like a proper human being, man. Like, it was bad. He would measure distances to see if he could get to an objective, and then when he found out he couldn't, he would pick the objective up and like slightly nudge it closer to himself so he could. Like, it was this whole dumb thing, man. That could be cool. kind of exciting, the prospect of being able to start a local scene that could be bigger than just like a few couple games here and there. And if you have the space for it, being able to eventually be like, yo, we're doing Rogue Trader tournaments, and then going from that to, oh man, we're doing GTs. We're actually fully connected to the competitive scene. People will fly out and, you know, rent hotel rooms for the weekend to stay and get some games in. It's kind of cool. I want to see if the guy this weekend has figured anything out about that, because I know he was talking about it last time I was there. When I brought up the whole, like, you could rent out like a fire hall and maybe get like 100 players in there. He was trying to figure out that like middle step between convention center and comic book store, and he had never even assumed the possibility of like a fire hall. What's up, Dior? Oh, the cheating kid? Yeah, he was hella, like, we could see him do it. We could see him do all of it. That's why we told him he couldn't play there anymore. Until maybe he, like, figured out how to not be a piece of shit. There was another kid kind of doing it. And eventually everyone brought it up with him. He would occasionally look for games in our local Discord, and if you ever were like, yeah, I'll play you, he'd always ask you what your list was before. Like, he'd be like, what's your list? Can you send me your list? Everyone's like, why do you need to know my list, man? It's like, I just want to be able to read and understand your rules earlier than, you know, the game. But then, like, one time he even brought up the whole idea of, like, oh, I try to see people's lists because if you're going to bring some things, I want to be able to bring things that counter it. It's like, all right, dude. No. No. Bad. It's probably in his early 20s. The other one was straight up like a probably 15, 16. His parents would drop him off there. There's also this weird couple of dudes that would come over from like the bookstore nearby. They worked at the bookstore at the other side. And there was obviously something like off about them. Every time they would show up, they would ask maybe the same questions of like, which faction should I play? And then they'd give you like the same, like, I want to play either this one or this one. And it was like repetitive almost. Like, over time, you eventually realize they were never planning on buying anything. They just kind of wanted to bring up like a topic to talk about with someone randomly. And then out of nowhere, they would both start showing up during like when there was moments when there was a lot of us playing, and they would kind of cut into our games and be like, hey, from this turn forward, you guys should be able to do this, and that'll be cool, right? And it's like, what? Like, just insert themselves into moments and situations. This is odd. Haven't seen them in a while, though. Yeah, one of them was a high schooler. The other one is just like 20 years old. And if you're beating him like enough, like if you are actively defeating his army hard enough, he'll start being like, oh, I have a headache. Maybe I should just go. I think I just want to go home. I have a headache. And then like he'll just grab all his stuff and be like, good game, man, good game. And then just like walk out the door. It's like, all right, man. I called him on it when he put his meta phalanx list down on the table. Because I know Thousand Suns. So when he drops the meta phalanx list on the table and he's like, I'm going to try it out. It seems like it might be okay. I'm like, 60% win rate's more than okay, man. More gold armor. Let's actually do the weird flesh disc. Gotta get the middle armor done. Were you there to watch Aaron's game? I thought you said you were just gonna show up and like chill. I heard he kind of shredded Max a little bit. Saw the results, the score. Well, yeah, I mean, Aaron's playing Necron, so like he has a little bit more access to like more units on field depending on what he's taking. But yeah, going down to like a bunch of super heavies is a great way to not be able to play too long. Because it's different. Max does kind of the same thing when we're playing AOS. He plays Hero Hammer pretty hard. He has like 4 units on field. But those units are so strong that it's very difficult to deal with them unless you have very specific key things on the field that can like outright kill them, right? And I don't normally. Like I do some interesting damage, but if I get some spell checks that end up being good, I'm okay. But beyond that, it's like I don't have that level of statting on some of my units. But man, in 40k, you come at someone with like, this is a 350 point model. Like, dude, my Fulgrim, I can't wait to take him to this tournament on Saturday and watch him die over and over again in turn like 1 or 2. It'll be my go turn. I'll send everything in, and then everything I send in will probably die, like immediately. I'm gonna have to be more patient than I've ever been playing proper people in a tournament setting. Ooh, nice. That's fine, Jack. But yeah, I think he's trying to translate Hero Hammer from AOS into 40k, and it does not translate directly. I think the closest we ever got was the Pantheon lists in Necron, and that only lasted for a short period of time. Who knows though? Maybe with the rules in 11th, being able to go like less units, more power, that might actually turn out to be a worthwhile endeavor. We'll have to see. I mean, there's a reason people lean into MSU instead of like large size squads. You actually need to do all those actions. You need to actually get in there and get way too many things done while also trying to hold off your opponent. It's important. They're doing the unboxing on Friday for the 11th edition box. I wonder how much longer it's going to be before they just drop the rules. My display case is at critical mass on the Emperor's Children shelf that I've got set aside. It's not good. Thankfully, there's not too many more models to grab that I care about. Could get some Mauler Fiends, but I honestly don't think it's worth. I'd rather just keep running the Defilers. Alright. Fleshy gold rimming. Skin Tone Zangor. No Greater Horror in the Universe. I think I'm going to give him black hair. What faction your brother decide to go? Or you're still trying to figure it out? Probably just hit him with the bricky introduction. Jack, I'm going to try to make some crock pot ramen at some point in time this week. I'm going to soft boil some eggs. It's going to be great. Found a pretty good way to approach it. It like consists of making the broth, and I'm gonna go chicken with it. I'm gonna throw in. I think it's at the end they want you to throw in like the extras. Maybe it's gonna be like mushroom, chicken, onion, and then chicken broth with like sesame oil, chili oil, stuff like that. Or no, rice vinegar, I think it is. And then after 3 hours of cooking on low, you pull the chicken out. You throw the noodles in for like between 30 minutes and an hour on high. And then you just thin slice the chicken. Throw some bamboo shoots in there, some sprouts. It's going to be delicious. Oh, it's gonna be multiple. I'm gonna try to fill this whole entire crock pot up, which will be like 3 or 4 servings. I'll just keep the components technically separate until I'm ready to reheat it and make some more. I'm gonna make the soft boiled eggs in my kettle, because that's like a weird quick way to make soft boiled eggs. You throw them in a kettle, make the kettle boil, and then when it stops, give it like 3 minutes and then put them in cold water. Yeah, I think the core of it's making the broth with some stuff in it, like the onions and things. And then the noodles will go in, and then I guess I'll just keep all that in like the fridge after the fact, maybe. And then the chicken would be cooked in it, but then separated so you could put it back in after the fact. Is I think the idea there. That way it has like all the fun seasonings and flavors. I just really wanted ramen, but I wanted to control the quantity of sodium going into my body. I don't need to drink more water. I can continue to drink more water and have less sodium. Both of those things can be true. Zangor out here, wielding the big ass axe mace. I was a little sad to find out they got rid of the heavy weapon profiles in AOS. Now this is all entirely meaningless. Just fun visual aesthetic. It's probably better considering like the concept of the revival of units. Revival of units gets weird when it comes to like returning profiles of weapons and when. I don't know. I don't think they're showing Grots for 5 days, right? It's the Xenos reveal, which I think is just leading up to the Armageddon unboxing, and they're just going to show the orcs in the box. It'd be cool to see like the Grot like box get an update though, because Grots are cool, and probably really deserve a more interestingly posed and geared box that you can add to the Grots you already own. Orc fans rejoice. Grot Day is here. But yeah, I think they're going to show us like probably an orc boy next. Just like a general boy, because it's not about Shuda or Slugga boys anymore. It's just you get an orc boy, it has both. Ugh. Grot Week reveals day 1. But it says Xenos identification. I mean, I guess it is probably new Grots. Like, that's a different Grot, right? Like, that's not a normal Grot that they showed us. Let me look up the actual Grot box. Orcs. Yeah, it is a new Grot. They have the head spike Grot, but it's not that head spike Grot. I always preferred the concept of using the AOS Grots. Yeah, I guess if that's it, oh dude, it would be the best. The actual best. If this was leading up to the reveal of a kill team of Grots. Grot kill team. 20-person kill team. Release it as a kill team box. Piss everyone off. Because now the 40Kers are going to have to compete with the kill team players to get the boxes. Yeah, I imagine it's a new Grot box. Because it's them leading up to the actual unboxing. So they'll probably... I could see them doing it for the Grots just because it's like less consequential than being like, here's the boys, here's the jump chaplain, blah, 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 blah. Dude, pocket-sized Killicans. The Killican's just the size of an orc. This is where they make the shift, and now orcs have like a sub-faction of only Grots and Gretchen. Kind of like the Gretchen specific and the Grot specific stuff from AOS. They get their own mini bikes. They let you use the Grot Riders, the squig stuff. I think people would be ecstatic in 40K if they could play Grots and squig heavy armies. I mean, I'm just out here waiting for some more EC announcements or for the Osiren Dreadnought announcement. I'm still holding out that the Hellbrute is difficult to get, and it's not actually in like a box that's considered, you know, one of the newer boxes, because they're trying to reassess how to do something with the Hellbrute. I will carry that with me till it happens or doesn't happen. That's all I care about at this point. I think their best path forward with the Hellbrute is to create a single box that inside of it houses all the other Pantheon options, right? If you're familiar with the Defiler, you buy one Defiler box and you can make it an EC Defiler. You can make it a World Eaters Defiler. You can make it a Chaos Space Marine Defiler. It's got all those parts, and I honestly think the Hellbrute needs to be very similar. Give me a Psychic Dread and Thousand Suns. Give me a dual Chain Axe Dread and World Eaters. Give me a Dread and Emperor's Children that is just a giant walking speaker system. That's all I want, man. None of this. Hey, do you want to take a double heavy bolter? No. You don't want to spend 200 points on 3 heavy bolter shots? Not at all. Why would anyone want to spend that much on garbage? Dude, I'd love someone rocking a Grot army. I'm painting these Zangors up because I too would like to field a fodder-based army. These aren't even... So these Zangors are technically going to be add-ons for the ones I already have. I could run them as 10, just like normal if I need it. But they're mostly about adding to the 10 that I already have for one of the squads. So I can run 2 squads 20 and I think 3 squads 10. Fairly effectively. All I'm saying is make Mutant Herd great again. God, that was like the best reveal from the Thousand Suns Codex. What are you hoping for out of the 70 detachments that are going to get dropped at 11th for your army? I'm hoping Thousand Suns get an enlightened focused detachment. Mutant Herd was supposed to be focused on Chaos Spawn and the Mutilith Vortex Beasts, but then they nerfed all that into the floor. So now it's kind of not meant for anyone in a weird way. It's the worst possible outcome. But I think if they refocused in on just the Enlightened as like the primary thing your detachment is going to focus on, I think it could be pretty cool. I mean, the average orc player can't be mad about playing orcs, right? Orcs are just fun. Fun times had by all. Get in there, get crumpin'. I feel like that could work. Limit the Space Marine models down to things that are like kind of mid, like assault intercessors or regular intercessors or something. But then like drastically reinforce the stats of nearby guardsmen. Because that's kind of the whole thing of like guardsmen being in awe of Space Marines. Like all guardsmen, ballistic skill up by 1 or something crazy. Build your stratagems around whether or not Space Marines are close by. So the Huron squad, I think, dropped for Chaos Space Marines, right? I still haven't really heard. Like, I've watched so many tourneys and I've seen no Red Corsairs. Am I losing my mind? I guess I'm just no one liked them. I know the Warhammer store had the Red Corsair Combat Patrol on the going back to the store bin pretty quickly. No one seemed to want that. Oof. The more I paint this, the more I kind of want to switch over to Mutant Herd for the tournament Saturday so I can lose by playing something like 110 freaking Zangor on the field. What are we thinking? Is the over-under on Centurions being removed from Space Marines? I know that's all Paul is bad at stuff ever talks about. He's going to keep playing them until he can't play them anymore. I kind of want to try to get a game in before the tournament, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one. Yeah, because what's the thing now? Like, you spend for, like, multiple detachments or something? I've only half paid attention to it. Because if I don't have the rules in my hand, I can't, like, check and verify anything. Because if I can multi-detachment my Thousand Suns army, there's a world where going Mutant Herd is actually really good. As at least one of your detachments. Because then your fodder's all 2OC. So you need to spend less on, like, putting too much stuff out in the open. But, like, there's a way to spend the points, right? Where it's like you spend all your points into one detachment and then you get everything. Like, are they making it so that you only get, like, X amount of stratagems based on the point spending? Or all the detachments, are they all going to have, like, their own points values? Because if that's the case, then Mutant Herd's probably going to be 1 point. I feel like Hex Warp could be, like, 3. Phalanx will probably be 3. Grand Coven might be 2. That is good. One of my biggest complaints about 10th so far is that you have all these detachments and only 1 or 2 of them are of any value. Like, ever. There are so many cool Thousand Suns detachments, but they're kind of garbage. Like, I want to play Mutant Herd. I do. And depending on what I have access to, I might, just to be able to deep strike a Mutilith Vortex Beast somewhere. Or to have these guys at 2OC each. Like, that's all of the value in it. And if I can run that alongside something like Hex Warp or Phalanx, then that would actually be really strong. We'll have to see. It's kind of like Force Org and AOS. AOS is a lot of the AOS rules seem to be seeping into 40k. At least the AOS rules I know. The new, like, don't call out your targets when charging. The new detachment thing feeling like Force Org from AOS. There's a couple other things, too. I wonder if they'll do the AOS deployment. You have to drop everything in one of your detachment collections. Get a bonus on your initiative roll if you drop everything before your opponent, that kind of stuff. get these done. We also got to get the weapons done for my EC defilers. Oh yeah, 30K stuff's expensive, but like I hope they announce the Phoenix Terminators at some point for Emperor's Children, so I could just be like, ooh, Phoenix Terminators, I'll just go buy out the freaking 30K ones. It's too funny. Let's do an enlightened. No, yeah, 11th could be good. The trick is always like, how does it work as a moving, like a complete moving thing, right? Because I know a lot of the times they would start talking about the new card seasons and they would bring up something like, oh, we're going to do this. You're going to get access to this thing if you're having a hard time and you're like losing by enough points. Or these missions will be able to pop up and cause some pretty cool outcomes to occur. And everyone's like, wow, that's actually kind of awesome that there's going to be more depth and difference that occurs during the actual tournaments and stuff. And then like it actually drops and they take a look at it and they're like, oh, this is just how... This just changes it so that if you're an individual who wants to try to win, you have to basically like choose to lose until turn 3. And then you'll get a card that's like, yo dog, time to win. And then you'll just win and your opponent won't be able to do anything about it. Got so bad that GW came forward and was like, I guess you can choose to not do that at tournaments. That's fine. And then every tournament went, yep, we choose not to, and then just moved on. I do like the sound of cover being more about hit than AP. I think the AP blending days are going to be like over, right? Armor of Contempt's still going to be a thing, but it's not going to be as devastatingly powerful, which could create a bit more interesting functions, right? Because right now I would say things like autocannons are garbage. Yeah, like autocannons are garbage. They're good, but they're also garbage because they're always AP1. But if it goes over to the hit instead, then autocannons might actually be really good going forward. Especially in the hands of units that might be able to increase their hit rating, so they just negate cover from targets. Just autocannon them down. We're going to see probably Knights points costs goes up. They're going to have to up the cost on Knights, since it sounds like they're giving Towering Knights +1 to hit permanent. Orcs are only going to be hitting on 6s ever, which is very orcish. Hitting on 6s, but hundreds of dice. At the very least, it does sound like they're making it so it is kind of worth going onto a second story of a building. Which, that does feel a little kill team-ish, in my opinion. Trying to make vantage points have true value that directly counteracts some of the buffs that are considered very defensive. Very kill teamish. So if cover gives you a -1, then being on a second story gives you a +1. Straight up value. Because I feel like in 10th, the only ever time we saw people use a second story building was like the Nurgle Sorcerer that has AP1 but doesn't ignore cover. So you always put him up on top so that he could ignore cover with the extra -1 AP and then just shoot people. Yeah, dude, if they don't legends them suppressors, the Space Marine suppressor units, the jump packs with autocannons, the ability to like fly to the roof of a building and then shoot with a +1 to hit autocannon. That it, depending on how the rules change, then reduce the incoming hit rates of the unit that got shot. So if it lives, it's still kind of screwed. Or you can like shoot one person from another squad like randomly with like a bullet. Give them the -1. Depending on how big the second stories are, small squads of Tzeentch Enlightened with bows can just fly up there and get hits on 3s without the need for a leader. Frickin' Emperor's Children Noise Marines on the second story of a building. GG. Yeah, get a flash kit squad up there. I like it a little better because as of right now, no one cares about second story buildings. Plunging fire, who gives a crap? Although now I think it's third story buildings, right? Like plunging fire comes from the third story, not second. But I think they're lowering it. Should be fun. They're bringing over a pseudo version of Conceal and Engage. In cover, haven't shot yet. Conceal. For 15-inch distance. I'm going to use those tokens too from Kill Team. It'll be great. Oh, welcome back, Jack. Dude, like any knight is going to be scary hitting on 2s now. The Despoiler, which is already scary. You're making the Tyrant hit on 2s. Be able to shoot people with Volcano Cannon hitting on 2s. It's like supersized plasma cannon on 2s. The Harpoon Launcher will be back to hitting on 2s. It's all scary. Freaking knights, man. The Castigator will hit on 2s now. Specifically the Castigator Knight. Not to be confused with like the 5 other units called Castigators. What kind of Orky Boys you trying to collect? If you're gonna go Speed Freaks, it's the new Combat Patrol now. Just buy 2 of them. I wonder what they're gonna do about torrent weapons, because torrent weapons, there are some torrent that don't ignore cover. Like, there's a lot of rules where I'm like, if you just want orcs and you'll decide later, Jack, probably then, yeah, lean into the combat patrols. Just to collect a bunch out of them, especially the new one for the Speed Freak stuff. You'll get a lot of helicopters out of it. What other good... So the Armageddon box is going to drop. That's going to have orcs in it. That's when 11th starts. That'll probably be a good place to grab. Take a look at it yourself, because I know you said you wanted to try to do like some Space Marine-y stuff. There will be Space Marines in. They are Blood Angels, but you might be able to make them look like anything. Which means if you wanted to go any other route with a Space Marine army, you could, based on what's inside the box. And then there should be a bunch of cool orc stuff in the box. And then normally the rules for those teams usually come out like shortly after or inside the box if it's like a Codex reboot. Which we're not too sure is going to happen immediately, considering all the codexes are still live in 11th. Oh, nice. It's got to be the best thing about orcs is making the looted vehicles. Just buy vehicles from any other army, and if you have enough Gretchen on hand, you just go like, alright, this is an orc vehicle now. I will run it as a Killican. I mean, for the longest time, they had the rules for the Stompas, but they didn't have a Stompa model. So you'd just, like, go to a Goodwill, just buy a bunch of stuff, and turn it into a Stompa. Get a bunch of corrugated cardboard. think that's the story arc we actually need. The Tau figure out how to mind control the orcs. Creating the greatest Xeno alliance of all time. Orcs out there wearing those mind control helmets, rocking railguns. Not bad. I'm all about grot-covered conversions. What are we? We're on hour number 2. Still kind of light outside. I kind of want to go for a walk. We've still got so many Zangors to paint. I'll probably do a lot of the gold off stream. I do got to get all this gold down. No way in hell these are ready for the tournament on Saturday, so I will stick with my not going to do well but kind of funny Emperor's Children list. Oh, nice. I figure if you have like a bin of really cool action figure components, right? Like weird, just small action figure components. That's got to be ideal for making orc like models. Because you could get some of those old, like from the 70s and 80s, like sci-fi kits that have the missile launchers in them where you press a button and it actually fires a missile out of it. So you could have like proper, fully painted orc conversions of things with like missile launcher action, like a classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles model of some kind. That'd be crazy. Just to be at a tournament and just be like, I'm shooting my missile. Click. Just flies across the table. Pisses everyone off. Yeah. Just working on the gold for the Zangors. Key thing we're doing right now. But I do think I kind of want to head out. Do a quick walk before the sun goes down. Get a couple things cooked up and a couple things picked out so that when I go to the Asian supermarket. What's up, Fiat? God damn it, dude. You coming in right as I'm outroing? Playing Battlefield tonight? And check it out. Get the Goatbird Man from the future. Yeah, I want to go for a walk before the sun goes down. Fuck it. I'll check this stuff out in Discord for the kit bashes. That's neat. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling. We might stream again tomorrow. We got to get these Zangors done. We also got the rest of the components for the Defiler that I still got to finish up. Although the ones that I have done already are the build. If you're into watching people occasionally have spikes of being ridiculously good at Battlefield, check out Fiat D's channel. He'll probably be live soon-ish. Yeah. Till next time, later, bitches.